All right, good morning, everyone. We'll get started. Today we are going to go over the program completion and transition outcome section in the CEJA reporting system. Before I open it up to Q&A, there were just a few updates I wanted to note as we are pushing out an update tomorrow night. We had some issues with the service needs assessment, well, actually, I think that was just for test and UAT, so that was already fixed before it got to production. So, um, actually, a couple of these don't really need to go over. Sorry about that, but um, we will have some updates for the outreach and partners tab. Specifically on the events page. I believe we covered it last time, but just to note that these are the updates that will be going out to production. Under the outreach tab, when we're adding an event, previously we had a few other options here for cold calls, inquiry contact, virtual event, and other. Those have been hidden. Um, and you won't be able to select those. I don't think you're able to select them now, but you'll still be able to see any past events that were tagged with that outreach type moving forward. These are the options that we're going to see here. And then on the partner tab, when the partner has been added, you'll be able to add an additional partner note here on the fly to include that in the table of entries here. And it looks like that might be it as far as what I would like to share. Let's see. And I did get some help request tickets. I think there were three different tickets where grantees or navigators were experiencing errors when uploading customers into the system. From my perspective, at least in the test environment, it looked like it was operating correctly. So I think it might just be that, something that's getting added into the template, um, the formatting or particular, data field is, throwing things off. And for those, help request tickets, I did respond with if you could just send me those templates so I can just kind of take a closer look because it seems to be working correctly, but the system, is clearly, not accepting something there. Um, and yeah, with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to questions that anyone might have before we get into the demo of the program completion and transition outcomes. So are there any questions about the system? Well, if not, there will be another opportunity, on the call. If there's anything that does come up, you can add it into the chat and we can get those questions answered. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's find a customer to go to the program completion tab for. So let's see here. So I'm in UAT. Let's see if we can find the last customer we were working with. Um, let's see. Let me find. I don't know if this was our customer, but they are enrolled, and that I think is a good start here. So let's see. Let's look at well, there are a lot of services here, so maybe not this one. Find someone who has fewer services that we can work with. So let's see. Status enrolled. Probably this. Well, no, that one already has transition outcomes. Let's see, how about this one here? Okay, yeah, we'll go to view edit. So let's go to this customer here. All right, so they do have a lot of services that we will need to mark as closed. But if we go to the program completion tab here, we can see that their training completion status is in progress. And what we should do before marking them as complete or withdrawn is to update those services um, to a status of complete, unsuccessful completion, or um, evaluated, not required. Essentially just closing those services out. And so we'll need to go back to the career plan. See, I did remove some of these just for the purposes of this call, so we don't have to, individually close out, a dozen or so services. So we'll just do these three since they already have something entered. We have our pre-apprenticeship training service. Let's see here. So for pre-apprenticeship training, mark as successful completion. So we'll need to enter in our dates, average weekly hours, along with the service provider. And because this is a training service, we'll need to have a assessment score of 70 or higher in order to meet the criteria for passing. So we'll just add all that at once. And update the service. Okay, then we'll just go to the other one. It looks like for this wraparound service, we just need to mark as successful completion and leave a case note. And then the same for the service here. And let's see, let's just go back to our page here, refresh and make sure they're all closed. And it looks like we're good to go. Okay. So if we go back to our program completion tab, we should be able to move forward now. So training completion status. If we select complete, then we just need to enter the completion date. And we can also, optionally, if there's an exit interview questionnaire, that can be uploaded here. If we select withdraw, we'll just need to enter that date, the reason for withdrawal, and again, there's the optional field for exit interview questionnaire. We'll mark this customer as complete, though. Enter the date. Leave a case note here. So then this will refresh and will show they're complete with this date here. And then for the overall program completion status, once they're receiving no longer receiving any other services at all, they may still receive wraparound support even after training's been completed. But once the customer is receiving not receiving any other services, then we can mark them as exited. And see, customer has exited CEJA program. All right, and we'll see that they're complete and exited. We go back to our progress page. You should see some flags change. It looks like they didn't add a career assessment to this customer, which is why we have the red one up there. Let's see. Oh, it does look like there's a couple costs that we'd need to add, but we covered that on our last call. Um, okay, good. So then, down here we're complete and exited, and we got the flag for green. And then this earned credentials yellow, just because I think with the pre-apprenticeship training service, we just didn't add a credential to that. But if we did, then that would, be green. But for the transition outcomes, so we'll walk through these, and this is Denzel Carter. We just go back to our customer search page here. Oh, because they're no longer enrolled. That's why. Okay, so we can see that their status and program completion status is exited, but for transition outcome, we currently have not applicable. But once we add the outcomes in, they'll appear in that cell in the customer list. So walking through these, we have our outcomes for apprenticeship. And if we select that, then we have to select the apprenticeship status. Just checking to see if any of these, okay, added any other questions, but let's say applied. Is this apprenticeship in clean energy or construction building trades? And we have an info bubble definition of what a clean energy job entails. So you can say yes or no, unsure. Is the apprenticeship union or non-union? And then is this a DOL registered apprenticeship program? And if we say yes, then we can enter the Rapids ID number here. But if you don't know that, you can check the box here. And then you just can enter the name of the apprenticeship program. And we'll click save and leave a case note. And the page will reload and we'll see the summary information for apprenticeship. And when we click the header for that, the window will appear here. And if we go back to our customer page and click search, we can see apprenticeship fills in here. So to walk through the other outcomes, the next one is job placement. Is this job in clean energy or construction building trades? Again, the clean energy info bubble there. Is this a temporary or transition job? Info bubble for temporary jobs. And then do they receive fringe benefits? And we got the definition of that there. And then we can just enter the employer information here. Required fields, that's name, address, the hourly wage paid, overtime pay rate if applicable, hours per week, the start date, end date if applicable, and then the SOC code for the occupations program. And we can click the button here to look up the codes. You can enter a keyword here, or you can click search to pull back all the codes and filter through them. And whichever one that it is, you can click select and that code will populate there. We'll click save. Case note again. Let's see, so then we have the job placement transition outcome here, and that will operate again the same way. There's a summary information. If we click job placement, it'll pull back that information in case we need to update it or add a new entry. If we needed to remove it, we can click the red X. Just going back to our customer list, if we refilter this, we'll see that both of those outcomes are included there. And the next transition outcome is for other training. And when we select that, again, we have is this training in clean energy or construction building trades, the type of training, community college, university, trade school, on-the-job training that's not apprenticeship, and then other. Okay. And then we can enter in the program information. So the program name, the provider name as well, and then the program address information. Oops. And then the status and date of the customer in this training program. So we have unknown, enrolled, confirmed, 12-month retention, completed, graduated, and unsuccessful completion. And then we can just enter the date that we know of that status there. So let's say enrolled, it's today's date. And click save. And then again, we'll add a case note. And we'll see the other training outcome has been added. We need to update this or add another status, maybe later when we come back to this, we can confirm that they have, completed. We can add another status and get that updated. The next outcome is open small business. Our question again for is the business in clean energy or construction building trades. Then the state of the business declining, steady, and growing. And we'll just enter in the information. Business address, and the business URL. The number of employees, the year the business was opened, what services does the business provide, and a follow-up date. Services. Enter follow-up date and click save. Case note again. And then once this reloads, we'll see open small business and that summary information. And then the last outcome that we have here is for job search. Is there an interview date? If so, we can enter that in. And then again, is this job in clean energy or construction building trades? And is it a temporary or transition job? So we can get that one added in. Another case note. And then once it reloads, we'll see job search down here. And if we just go back to our customer search page, we can see that all 5 of those outcomes that we've added, appear here. And if we, remove them, come back here. So it's a job search, so we can see that has been removed there. And there is another one that the RAs and I have talked about that we are going to add to this. I just want to make sure I get the name of this right. So one moment. Let's see, this is the name of the one we're going to be adding is Joined Entrepreneurial Program. And I can maybe just pull over a couple screenshots here so you can see what we're going to be adding here. Just a little bit of this. Oops. But it'll operate, here's the transition outcome, joined entrepreneurial program. Is it a CEJA program? If so, then they'll be able to select clean energy contractor incubator or primes accelerator, and then we'll have a drop down for the grantees that are listed there that you can add. And then if it's not a CEJA program, then joined entrepreneurial program, no for CEJA program, and then that training program information address, status, and status date we'll be adding in there. So yeah, we will have another transition outcome that will be added to this page here. And then let's see, just scrolling down, follow-up case notes. Yeah, after exit, we have just the intervals for following up with the customer, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 9 months, and 1, 2, and 3 years afterwards here. And then earn credentials, if any credentials have been added to a training service in the career plan, they'll be pulling through here. In this case, the customer didn't have any credentials. And then we have success stories that can be added into the system. And to add a success story, we'll just click the button here. And this will take us to our success story guide, which just provides information, tutorials, PowerPoint presentation, kind of one-pagers for writing success story, tips, to keep in mind. Customers can submit a success story on through the system. So can employers, but I feel like for the most part, success stories are submitted by the grantees on behalf of them. And when submitting, we can click this link here, and this will allow us to choose, is it a customer, is it an employer? Community story, that's for Apprenticeship Illinois, that program. So I would, for CEJA and FEJA purposes, select one of these first two. And if we select the customer story, what we can do is we can search by their username or their name, and it'll pull back, a list of, I won't do this since I'm in production, don't want to pull back, some of their information. But you'll be able to select their name, and it will take you to a form that will look something like this. Very similar. This would be the customer info, their name, a lot of their information would populate here. And then you would just fill in, the remaining fields. So the story info under program type, you can select, which, program here. Looks like we have Workforce Hubs twice, so we'll be sure to get rid of one of those duplicates. And then you can select the provider address information. Let's see here. You can enter a title, the success story, here would be the text of it. We have the ability for you to kind of upload a photo. Usually it's of the customer. If not, if the customer didn't want their photo uploaded, a lot of organizations just upload their own logo in that place there. We do have a photo there. And then terms of agreement, accept the agreement, submit the story. And then we have someone on our staff, check on a weekly basis to, review and, approve any stories that are submitted. And let's see here. Then I think the only other thing I wanted to, no, I think that's it actually. I think we'll, yeah, that'll be the demo portion for that. And so with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions. I did see one come in the chat. Let's see here. In the service needs assessment, let's go to that here. If a student says it needs services in the initial service needs assessment, then we meet with them. They actually don't need the services selected. How do we rectify it so it doesn't say needs attention? Example, a student says they need help with childcare, but they either don't have children or have adult children and not school aged. Yes, that's a great question. So let's see here. So let me actually go back a page. So for this customer, we had a couple costs. So let's say, in this example, we have a couple that need attention here, but maybe we don't actually need that after all. So what we can do is if we go to intake and let's see if we go to, I believe, yeah, we would need to go back to see the previously submitted ones. So we can click the edit here. Let's see, and what were these? Are provides support service for technology assistance in-house and assistant with educational testing. No, other student support service. Okay, so technology assistance in-house. So that one, I believe, is looking at this first checkbox here. Or no, wait, this is technical assistance, wasn't it? Here we go, yeah. So for this question, I support services. Triple checking here. Okay, so then we would come back. So we have click to edit the previously submitted service needs assessment. We would uncheck the box for the item identified, and then for the question up here, we click yes to resolve that. And then they also had, let's see, let's just update this one for now. And then I might have to do this twice since it looks like we have 2 entries here. So let me just check here. Yeah, okay. So once we resolve that here, we go back here, then this should go away. Provide support service for technology assistance in-house. So click to refresh. Yeah, there we can see that one of those items that needed attention has disappeared from this list here. And then just for the other one, other students, instructional support services, we have, let's see, open up both of these. This one should be, oh, it's right here, for in-house support. So if we uncheck that in both places and submit them, then I believe this should go away from the progress page. Yep. So that's gone. We can see that now this is good and resolved. So, so yeah, you would just go back to the previously submitted service needs assessment, uncheck and update that radio button, and then click submit at the bottom and refresh over here. And then that would make that all squared away. Good question. Are there any other questions about the CEJA system?
Hey, David, this is Joy. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we circle back to the transition outcomes?
Yeah, definitely.
And then when we go to add the transition outcome and we are choosing the outcome as a job search,
Mhm.
it is required, I guess, that we have an interview date with that. A lot of our participants may be in this job search category, but don't have an active interview date. So I'm trying to figure out, why does that have an asterisk in it? Why does that have to be relevant? Required information, I guess.
Yeah, I know it was set up that way. I'm gonna check. Do we have any of the RAs on? I know we're meeting tomorrow.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
see.
on. I'm on, Dave. We should let's talk about that. What else is in that outcomes drop-down menu?
For job search, yeah, the interview
No, I
date
mean,
looks at, oh,
no,
the
in
other
that.
outcomes here.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, apprenticeship, job placement, other training, open small business, and job search.
And then you're going to add the entrepreneurial programs.
Yeah, we'll be adding
Okay,
those.
yes. We may need to. I didn't realize that job search was included as an outcome. We should probably revisit that. I mean, searching for a job isn't an outcome. That's something that they're doing prior to getting the outcome. So we may need to just remove that one from the list. But yeah, let's add that to the agenda for tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add that in there. So yeah, we'll meet and discuss that, and we'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yep, sure can.
Hi, I'm Gabe. I'm with Central States Air in the Northern Region. We're the part of the Energy Transition Navigation Team. We're still kind of rather new, and I had a couple of questions for you, utilizing the system as navigators.
Yeah.
Are we eligible to be able to send a qualified candidate outside as a referral outside of the Northern Region? Can we send it to Central or South?
Yeah, you would be able to do that. Let me see here. Let me log in as a navigator.
And while he's doing that, I'll just add that, in the system you can, but it's probably a good idea to just, establish a little bit more communication with that kind of referral than you might with one of your, closer partners who's kind of got the process established with you for those referrals.
Okay.
So maybe send an email over to inquire.
Oh, most definitely. We want to make sure that something that's sent over is available, on schedule. Whenever you're ready, I have the other question.
Yeah, and I was just going to quickly show, so if this was, a customer that we were going to send to, a different region, what we could do, maybe they moved or, on their intake page, what we can do down in number 4 here is check the box for transferring them to a different navigator or grantee. So even if it's, a new navigator or, just a different, Climate Works or Workforce Hubs program, you can make that selection and, choose the program and then the, grantee or navigator. And then you can enter, in the reason, customer is qualified and still eligible and would like to enroll in Climate Works with Zion College. And so then you can click the button to submit transfer. And then that group, the staff who have access to that organization, they'll receive an email, and they'll also see it in their dashboard here at the top of the list once we filter for responding to transfer requests. And then they'll be able to, once they accept the request, then that customer would show up in their list.
Questions in the room?
Do we get a confirmation? You can. Does that come with a confirmation email once they accepted the request?
Yes, if they accept or reject the request, you would receive an email.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And I do have another question as well. Our outreaches to the west side of the Chicago region, there's a likelihood that we do engage with people that might be in the just western suburbs. And there's times where we data enter them. They're part of our American Job Center system as well. They come into, different types of canvassing events we engage with. We data enter them. They do have criteria that we're finding equity for in our system, like backgrounds and foster care, things like that. But when we data enter them, the system provides X's where it says they're not eligible for hubs or Climate Works. We were wondering if that was a regional thing that we were locked out of because they're not in our northern region.
I don't know. We might need to get on a separate call just to kind of walk through and see, because it could be it could depend on how some of these questions are answered.
Okay.
And I know sometimes too, we've kind of heard some issues with, seeing X's here, but or, not always seeing the correct thing. As far as I know, this should be, displaying correctly with these X's here. But it does seem like the pre-screening result that is correct based on, the answers and, to the questions up there. And so, yeah, I would say to take a look at, the pre-screening result. If they are eligible based on the questions, answered, you would see one of these two options. But if they're not, then I think the only one we have, I forget the exact language here, customer does not meet eligibility requirements. So yeah, this may just be like a visual thing that's off. But yeah, let's get on a call. We can, talk offline and kind of just do a screen share and just kind of, check and see and make sure, there's not a larger issue with the system.
Thank
But
you.
yeah,
Appreciate that.
And I was gonna say, it shouldn't be blocking you based on your geography. So, yeah.
Guys, I look forward to, if you can contact us or we'll send you an email, just put it in the chat. I don't know if I have your contact info, but we'd love to connect.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I'll just add my email address in the chat here.
Yeah, and then David, would you want him to send like a screenshot or something, or what would you like him to do?
Yeah. If you want to send me an email and, a handful of customers, who, are going through that issue, I can take a closer look too, to, let you know what's, what I'm seeing and, if we need to. Yeah, actually, yeah, let's start with that. Yeah, I would say to send me, some of those customers who are, showing up as, maybe not being eligible. And yeah, I can take a look and, if we need to, meet and discuss further, happy to get on a call and troubleshoot.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that. We'll write down your email and we'll send you something out later today.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Appreciate it.
Do we have any other questions? Well, if not, Nate, Larry, Michelle, Diana, is there anything you'd like to share with the group or ask?
Nothing else from me today. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. Right. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll get the recording today posted to our partner guide page. And if there's anything that comes up, please reach out through email or help request, and we'll troubleshoot and get your questions answered. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye,
See
y'all.
ya.